Not my favorite topic of conversation, but this is a very important one because the only thing worse than paying property taxes is trying to calculate them before you're stuck with them every single year for the foreseeable future. So this video specifically pertains to Johnson County. I'm not just going to give you the exact calculation. We're going to define some of these terms like mill rate, what in the world does all of that stuff mean? I'm also going to give you the exact breakdown city by city, whether you're looking for Overland Park, Olathe, Lenexa, Leawood, Prairie Village, the list goes on and on and on. But by city in Johnson County, you're going to have the exact tax rate to plug into that formula. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to double check existing tax records that are public on the Johnson County government website. Let's get started. Part number one is all about the terms. I'm going to give you a little bit of context, but you don't need to remember these. You just need to know where to plug these things in and the formula we're going to cover in part number two. So two things that we've got to define. One is the assessed value of the property. This is essentially the percent of the property that you'll be paying taxes on. We will discuss the tax rate here in just a second, but in Kansas, here's how this breaks down based on where the property is located. So I'm going to put all of these on the screen for you. The assessed value, it's 11.5% of appraised value for residential, 25% for commercial and industrial, 30% for agricultural, 12% for vacant properties. Now, I do want to make one distinction, which is that assessed value, the taxable value, is distinct from the appraised value and the market value. Basically, they're going to look at what the house appraised at or what the house sold at. They're going to times it by 11.5% in residential areas, and that'll give you the taxable value of the property. And we're going to multiply that by the tax rate and do some other stuff here in a second. The second thing that you need to know is the mill rate. A mill is essentially 1/1000th of a dollar. The mill rate is essentially how many of those you're going to have to pay, and we'll break down what that looks like in the formula. But basically, each city, based on the school district, the fire department, the parks and rec department, all of the different things that the city does that they need tax revenue to support, they're going to have a mill rate. We're going to add all those up. I've got a spreadsheet that we'll go over here in just a second that breaks this down by each city so you can get a specific idea. It's totally free. It's in the description. We'll handle it in just a second. But those are the two things. The assessed value, we need to know the mill rate. Part number two, the exact formula you need, and then we'll also break down the exact mill rate or the tax rate depending on the area of town you're looking for. So here's the formula on your screen. Property taxes equal the mill rate times assessed property value divided by 1,000. That 1,000 is critical because if you don't divide by it, the amount is going to be astronomically high. So that's a very critical part of this. Like we talked about in the last section, the assessed value of the property is the purchase price or the appraised value of the property times 11.5%. So if we took $500,000, let's say that's the appraised value of a home, the 11.5% of that would be $57,500. So we're going to plug that right into the formula there. Now all we need is we've got to find the mill rate. Now, if you go to the description below, I've left a link to a Google Sheet where I've compiled all of the different mill rates depending on what city, school district, etc. that you might be looking into. So it's got all of them updated for the year 2023. Go ahead, go down to that link. We can kind of walk through this together. But first things first, when you land on this page, what I'm going to have you do, it's bright red letters. And by the way, I'm no like spreadsheet genius or wizard or anything. This is like the most bare bones way that I could figure out how to put this all on here and make sure it's easy to use. So what I'm going to have you do, because it won't let you edit it, is I'm going to have you make a copy. It'll save to your own drive. You might need a Google account to do this. But once you're here, and all of this stuff is totally free, once you're here, you're going to see a couple different things. Now, all of the information that we're going to have to manually input is 3 cells. So we've got the mill rate by city. We're going to use Overland Park as an example in this specific one. So I'm going to go over here to Overland Park. You can see the mill levy, the additional levy, and the total levy. We're going to take that total levy amount and I'm going to put it in 14.573. Now we've got to go over here to the school district. If you're in Overland Park, you could be in Shawnee Mission, you could be in the Blue Valley School District. Let's say that we're in the Blue Valley School District. It's 54.87. And then finally, we've got to go into recreation. This is only for Blue Valley and Spring Hill. So we are in the Blue Valley in this specific example. So we're going to go 2.989. And that'll give us, boom, in that blue box right there, you can see it'll give us the exact mill levy. So we're going to take this number and plug it back into that formula. So that formula, as we had it so far, $500,000 is, let's say, the appraised value of the home. We've just bought the home, we got it appraised $500,000. 11.5% of that is $57,500. Now we're going to times that $57,500 by the mill rate right here, which is 107.157, and that's going to return a very high number that reads $6,161,527.5. Okay, we're going to divide that by 1,000. And that gives us $6,161.53 if we're rounding up. So $6,000, $500,000 purchase price. That's what this formula will spit out. And I think this is going to be an overestimate, if anything. I think there will be about $500-$600 between the true tax value, the true amount of tax that you'll have to pay on your bill versus this calculation right here. Now, part 3 of this video, we're going to use the Johnson County Ames website to figure out exact tax bills right now. You can search by address, but there's one word of caution, one disclosure that I've got to give you. When you go to Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Trulia, etc., and you see that estimated property tax on whatever home you're looking at, that's usually going to change once you buy the home, right? You're going to get a whole new appraisal. The purchase price is going to be quite a bit higher than what the county thinks the value of that home is right now, especially if the seller did sizable work and now they've added equity to the home. Basically, it's going to change, but this will give you a better idea of how to check against other properties in the area so you can get a good idea of the precise estimate. So I've left that link down in the description. You'll also see a link to a blog article that I've written to accompany this video, but go ahead and click on that link. You can kind of pull it up, and here is what the Johnson County Ames website looks like. So you can search by location, and since with this video we've used Overland Park as an example so far, I'm going to do one of the most popular subdivisions in Overland Park, which is the Lionsgate subdivision. I'm not going to pull up anybody's personal tax bill, even though this is publicly accessible and you could do it on your own. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to leak their information on the internet. So what you're seeing right now is the HOA association, but whatever address you search, it'll pop up the same deal. And right next to tax bill info, that's what you're going to click on. Now, I've done that with a residential address, not, some sliver of property owned by the HOA. And instead of leaking their information, this is what it looks like. So you will see the exact itemized line by line breakdown of everything that we've talked about so far. All of this, again, is just in preparation so you can estimate, get a budget, an idea of what these property taxes are going to look like. So this is one of those homes in that Lionsgate subdivision. You can see the total taxes right here, $6,889.27. They've paid in 2 installments. Now, a little memo about the installments. So on the Johnson County website, you can pay either all at once up front for the entire year, or you can do it in 2 installments like those people did. The first half, December 20th of the current year. The second half is due on May 10th or before May 10th of the following year. So we're going to go right back to that list right here. You can see the complete itemized breakdown. That spreadsheet that I linked you to, here's the exact mill rate. They have already divided by 1,000, so that's what you're seeing right there. So there you have it, how to figure out property taxes and calculate them ahead of time in Johnson County and all of its cities. Hopefully this was helpful. Of course, I'm human, I make mistakes. Sometimes I totally misspeak, and I try to make sure everything was clear. I made all the distinctions, but we're talking about appraisals and assessed value, and I might have jumbled up those words. So if you found anything, by all means, leave a comment below. I can go ahead and correct that. And also, I've left a link to a blog article in the description where it's a little bit more comprehensive, a little bit more step-by-step, so you can really follow it as you're calculating your property taxes. Because I know the video format, it's good for a lot of people, not so good for other people. I wanted to give you quite a few options. So all of those links are in the description. By all means, any questions about this stuff, feel free to reach out, leave a comment. I want to make sure you've got all the info you need to calculate this, because it's a big deal. These are taxes that you're going to pay every single year, and oftentimes it's $500 a month or even more, especially when we get to those higher price points. So hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for future videos about the Kansas City real estate market, and I'll see you on the next one.